Keeping it fresh, tune by tune. Zest Radio.
What's up, guys? Welcome to
Where
the
flavor
third episode
matters.
of Zest Radio, where we are flavor-oriented. And I am here with a boss of a woman, an artist, and also a promoter. Please welcome Discordia.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, Mama?
That's the DJ noise heard around the world, right?
Right, we're just getting used to it. So if I play a couple sounds, you'll have to ignore me. But we're getting warm and it's getting nice in here. And thank
I'm
you.
here for it.
Yeah, thank you for coming in today. Honestly, I love seeing you. Every time I see you, you just light me up. You're a beautiful soul, and I just want to talk about you and your music and the future and what it looks like for you, because honestly, you've taught me so much within myself, and you've taught me so much about confidence and business and sticking up and putting your heels down and just like making sure that you do it in a respectable, loving way. And I'm so proud to have you here today. How are you, Mama?
Thank you so much. That's a very kind introduction. I'm good. I'm good. It's a lovely Monday. The weather was really nice today, so I actually was working on a set today. So I was in Record Box hunting and sifting and trying to find some new tracks that I want to play. I just played a set at Golden Door.
How was that? I love Golden Door. It's so fun. Everyone in there is so fun.
Bro, it's so, man, I hadn't played there in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just a ton of fun. I forget how much fun it is to play, because it got packed like right off the bat. It was just like whoop,
That place stays packed, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's awesome.
The energy in there was just tons of fun. People were getting down. I don't know what it was. Like they were
Every
just
time you play, they get down.
I know, but they were just adorable. There was like a couple of people I was picking out of the crowd that were just like getting it. I love
Is
that.
there any video from that night? I need to see.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll throw you.
Yeah,
It's
hook me
a
up
couple
there.
that I saw, but I don't know. Like that's like one of my favorite things as a DJ, as someone who curates and holds space for people, and
Yes.
and creates an energy that we can all share.
Yes.
Like,
So important.
I love watching what people do with that.
Yes.
And how they interpret it and
Yes.
how they, reflect it back, like obviously most of that is through dance. And
Yes.
that's one of my favorite things is just looking out over people. I mean, obviously a lot of times I'm like, but when I'm not, and I'm actually engaging and looking at the crowd and people, it's so cute to watch like the silliness
Mhm.
and the inner child, come out
Just come out.
play. 'Cause
Yeah.
I,
And it
I-
feeds your energy too.
yes, yes. It just signals to me too that, I'm creating a safe space for people. And
Yeah.
that's what I want. I love to see.
You're a promoter. So creating a safe place also is just like your specialty, I feel like.
Yeah, I started as a promoter first. This whole DJ business has only been going on for about 4 years now. And I was just in the scene, because I was a dancer. So
That's why I wanted to highlight you.
Yeah.
You have every aspect of it, sis. And you do it so well. And I've just admired you from day one, and you've made me feel so comfortable. And that's where I want us to touch on some things that women may go through in the scene,
Yeah.
and how we got that, went through that together, and just the strength when you have leaning on someone or opening a door for another person that you think is talented, or just all of that I want to get into, because you really are a queen at what you do, and I want to know how you do that.
Well, it may sound hokey, but I kind of had a little bit of a breakdown,
We all do.
at a part in my life, and I was really struggling for purpose. Like, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing here? Like, I was just really struggling, and I have a whole sordid history of like spiritual and religious background that we won't get into, but I do consider myself like a spiritual person.
Absolutely.
And I was really struggling with that side of myself. And I think it came to me somehow. I can't really describe how it came to me, to be honest. It's kind of weird. But it came to me that I was a connector, and that was my purpose. So you'll often see me out and about and talking to people. I learn about who they are, what makes them tick, what kind of interest they have. And I say, oh, I have another so-and-so, and they also have this really interest too, and they're doing such and such. I should introduce you. And I'll immediately put them into like a group Instagram or a group chat.
You are that connector.
I'm not kidding. I probably do that at least 3 to 4 times a night. And the beautiful things that have come of that.
They're endless,
I'm
and
not,
they're still flowing.
I'm not, yes. Yes. Because I get to meet, I'm in a position of privilege, and I get to meet so many talented people. And then I also know a wide berth of others. And I'm like, oh, I have a friend who's an opera singer, and you guys are doing this, Christmas Dickens thing. You should talk to him and it would be great, and to see what comes of that. Like, I really, really enjoy it. And I have found a lot of purpose in that. And then I also think that music is a big part of my purpose as well. I really am hesitant to call myself an artist, and people will pish-posh.
Don't be, babe.
I know, but I don't create music. I do in a way that I mix. So I'm mixing music, but I myself am not a producer. And it's something that I'm wanting to rectify, but struggling to find the time because, I work a full-time job. I have to obviously take care of myself. I'm not a trust fund baby. And I actually grew up in a pretty poor family. So,
Same.
I have to take care of myself. And I work in tech for my day job. And I have to put that kind of like first and foremost, And DJ started as a hobby. And it took me a while to really get to a point to where I was like, okay, maybe now I can start producing.
I want to kind of highlight what you just said a little bit, because I look at you as a producer, and I know that you may not necessarily sit down in Ableton every day.
Sitting down and bothering Paulo and going, do this beat boop and that beat boop. No, that doesn't count.
That does count. So you're a promoter in town,
Mm-hmm.
and you have United Perception. Can you tell the Zest family a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I started as just a participant, and then I moved into promotion and then a DJ.
On the
So
way
that's
to the top.
kind of how the little progression has gone. But Paulo is my business partner, Paulo Ventura. He's a gem of a man. And we started United Perception because we really wanted to do just that. We wanted to unite people. We wanted to throw shows that included all genres, multi-genre. I feel like sometimes in Nashville there can be a really big split between house and bass.
There's so much. Yes. Yes.
So we really wanted
That's
to
why I love you guys so much.
try to rectify
Yeah.
and work through that. And, because we're the type of people, we like everything.
Y'all connect with everyone,
Yeah.
really. Like there is no in between with you guys. It's just everyone, and that's what I see so lovely. Like your perception is just everyone united,
Mm-hmm.
and you create that, and then you play, and it's just like everybody comes together on the dance floor, and with us too. It's just been really remarkable to see you grow over the years. Now when we go out, you're getting recognized on the street. You're like, is that Discordia?
Oh my gosh, it is kind of crazy.
How
My
does that
friend was making
feel?
fun of me, Nick, because we were at Bonnaroo and we were, at Roo having a good time.
Every time.
And we were walking around and we're walking out of Where in the Woods. And someone came running up to me and they were like, Discordia. And I didn't know who they were. They were just a fan. And they said, oh, I saw your set at such and such, And I was like, oh, it's great to meet you. What's your name? Said hi. And then we, walk off. And I just look back at Nick and I'm like, oh my goodness. Somebody just recognized me. Bro, we walk not 10 more steps.
Another one?
And someone else, a completely different person,
Let's go.
comes out.
That's awesome, Danny.
It happened again. It happened 3 times in a row. So much so that it was eerie. Do you know what I mean when I say eerie?
It's
just
kind
like,
of magical. It's like a different world feeling.
It was a very strange feeling. And
Air
Nick
gets lighter or something.
Nick was just like, "What is going on?" And I was
Cool.
like, "Are these paid actors? Like, am I like a double
Did
mint
someone
commercial
set
or
this up?
something?" They're
Who
just like,
did this?
"Yeah, who?"
Ashton Kutcher, are you around here? Am I
Yeah.
getting punked?
But it was very, very strange, and since then it's been happening more and more, and I, I love it because I love people who connect with music and they connect with, my personality on stage and everything and I think it's adorable for people. And it's so cute because now sometimes people will meet me out and they'll be like, "Oh, Discordia." And I'm like, "Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. And it's adorable. I think it's really cute.
It's the best.
And when they tell me about, "Oh, I was at your set at such a," like they remember where they were, I think that's really, really sweet.
Yeah, it's so mind blowing. It
is.
really is. It's like
I see myself in them too. Like, I
right.
remember like the last time I saw Noizu, I was like, "Oh, I saw you in Atlanta," like I just remember like, I just think it's adorable to see that happiness in them and that they're connecting with something and that I could provide that.
Yes, I'm so proud of you. And I've always been your biggest fan, and I always will be. And especially for young women listening to Zest Radio, I really want you guys to know that this woman has been a huge inspiration in my life and continues to be a huge inspiration in my life. And I'm just really happy that you put yourself out there and you don't change. And you've been in the scene for a long time.
Yeah.
Discordia was made in 2021, correct?
Yeah, 4 years ago. Is that 4 years ago? Like, yeah. It was either 2020 or
2020,
2021. I gotta look.
But
I think it was 2020. It was
So-
right after the pandemic. Yeah. it
so
was
tell
20
me a little bit what inspired that, because you were Chaos Boss before, which you are the boss of Chaos.
Yeah. So we got to get back to where Chaos came from. So
Yes.
Chaos Kitten was my college nickname because like in college, I was I was taking tons of classes because I wanted to be done quicker. So I graduated high school when I was 16 and I was doing college credit while I was in high school. And I was just like, I want to get this done. You know what I mean?
You're like that now, Danny.
So everybody thought I was crazy, because I was literally going from like 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and then I also worked on top of it. I was putting myself through school because like I said, my parents, I didn't come from a lot of means, so I worked at Best Buy to
That's
put myself
what we
through
do.
school.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I was a supervisor at Best Buy.
Hey, we
but
all
everybody
come from somewhere.
They started calling me Chaos Kitten because like I
That's
was always
freaking
like
awesome.
papers flying out of my backpack, running around. Oh, I got to work, like crazy. So that's where my Chaos nickname came from. Well, when I started DJing, I chose Chaos Boss just like as something to throw out there, but it didn't really resonate with me when I first started playing. I was like, this doesn't really resonate with me. And, you and Kim and a couple of my other friends were like, well, we really need something that resonates with you. So how are we going to get this that resonates? But I still wanted in my heart that little piece of chaos still because that's always who I've been.
Mm-hmm.
And, as someone who has OCD and ADHD diagnosed, I'm not just saying that, like, there's a whole bunch of crazy over here. I wanted something that still encapsulated that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I can honestly remember. I was looking up, Roman gods and goddesses.
Yes, I love your description on SoundCloud.
And
about
I
it.
was like, oh, okay, I want to look up, see if there's a god of chaos or madness or something like that. Bro,
Tell my
the
sister.
Roman goddess of chaos is Discordia. And I was like, "Ruh." I like went in on the lore and was reading. I fell into like all these rabbit holes about it. And I just loved it. It felt like it really resonated with me. And the fact that she was not the causer of chaos, but the goddess of chaos. I was just like,
I love that vocal. I need to sample that.
I love it, so
I'm so proud
it's
of you.
cheeky too. It's also like disco, isn't it? Like there's so many things about it that work, and I think it really works for me.
It
really
works, sister. It works.
I
There's
love it.
nothing cooler than Discord. Then Discordia.
I need like a little tagline.
I got you. So you switched the name in 2021, right? So
Yeah.
How has that been branching out and rebranding yourself.
It's cute because I can have like another little persona, and I can start splitting into like, these two little different people.
It's
I'm like,
empowering, right?
yeah, like John Summit talks about when he was doing finance and DJing, and then there's all these other DJs. So many DJs out there are like working so hard in their day jobs and then doing this stuff at night. And it's a tough, it's
We're
a
like
fine line, brother,
slaves.
but Lord, do I walk it, it's really difficult because like, a lot of us out here still have to feed ourselves, you know?
I have to remind myself to eat sometimes. I get to working where I'm like, okay, I got to take an hour
Yep.
break,
Mhm.
and you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, you're showering.
Dude, like, and tell me this is a funny story. Like a year or so ago, I went on this interview and it was for a very fancy pants, high title job. And they took one look at my Instagram and they were like, and I was like, how about I split them and we'll do like party girl over here
I know.
and tech
That's another
guru
thing
over
too.
here.
Yes.
And so they kind of they literally said we would prefer that.
Yes.
And
yes,
so
do.
they didn't force me to, but it basically was kind of implied that if I didn't, I wasn't gonna get the job. So I did. That's when the split happened.
I love that you brought that up because I've had plenty of jobs that because I was an artist, they would not let me work there. One job, serving job one time because I
look like a party girl.
because I had blue hair. It's like, you can't work here.
Yeah. Everybody think, and what's hilarious is I'm sober. So it's like,
Yes.
it's like people, this,
Yes.
yeah, this like image that I have. Well, I mean, California's over, but like the image that I have to people, is like, if you look at my Instagram for Discordia, they're like, oh my God, this, she's on benders all the time,
Yes, and really, you make mad money. Have all your stuff in place. You're working out. You're DJing. Like, I've never seen anyone kill it, really. Especially as a woman, like, you really have taught me so much. And especially one thing I want to highlight, as women, we hustle and we hustle. But you taught me how to slow down. And I want to remind people to slow down every once in a while, that yes, that grind is important, but we also got to take care of ourselves. And you've taught me that. And I just want to really applaud you for that because that is such a growing factor, not only as you grow up, but as you grow as an artist or you grow as a boss, as a promoter.
Doing the inner work.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yes. The inner work
And
creates
taking
the outer
care
work.
of yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
But, being mindful of your habits, being mindful of, your surroundings and being mindful of doing the inner work on yourself. And there's a lot of people out here that, a lot of us all have trauma. I don't think there's not much just super shelter people anymore.
Well, that's life, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's life.
life.
Life is suffering. Life is
It's okay.
suffering. But to get through it, you really need to rest, hydrate, work out, take care of yourself.
Get yourself out of the house.
I don't like to admit it, but I'll admit it on this podcast. I used to be really heavy. I used to be over 240 pounds, and I lost a whole person, and I won't ever be perfect. I'll always have loose
You're
skin
perfect
from
to
it.
me, Mama.
And I won't ever be small and
Never
perfect
say
anymore.
never.
But what I'm saying is, it took me a really long time to understand how to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And what to do for myself to be healthy and happy. And, this is another secret I'll give out. I'm not going to tell my exact age, but I am over 40. And a lot of people think I'm in my 30s. And so I'm like,
no,
I'll
people
take
think you're
it.
18. I think the first time I saw, I'm like, no way. You are like the fountain of youth.
And when women, especially younger women, will talk to me and they're like, "You're what?"
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "What creams do you use?
Oh,
What do you do?" And I'm like, I sleep. I get all of my sleep. I get like 9 hours of sleep a night. And I know people see me at the afters all the time and they're going to be like, "Nah, that girl's at the afters all the time." And I'll be like,
she's playing the afters all the time.
"Well, don't worry. I still get the
you
sleep
set that
though."
time aside to do
Yeah,
that.
I take a nap ski, a little disco nap beforehand, and then I get my butt to the,
Disco nap. That's cute.
Oh man. Oh
I
yeah.
love
I
that
am
name.
a fan of the disco nap.
Oh
So
my
get your
gosh.
rest, get your water. I feel like a mom, but and I'm being lighthearted here, but really taking care of yourself is so much deeper than that. Learning yourself, learning what your bad habits are and why
Yes.
they're your bad habits.
And boundaries too.
Addressing them and facing them, even sometimes when it's hard for us. I've helped many people in my life when they were going through things, addictions to things, or even just breakups, or any type of thing like that, and really trying to help people to focus on self-care and taking care of themselves, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And I know everyone says that, but it's so true. And I think a lot of us view, especially people who grew up religious possibly, we feel like self-care and taking care of ourselves is selfish. And we see selfish people and we're like, oh, I don't want to be a selfish person, but selfish people and self-care, those are not congruent things.
Right.
And don't get it twisted, and so, yeah, I'm glad that I can be a voice for those kind of things, and really hold space for people and help people when they are going through things, and help people realize that, the focus has got to be on yourself. And I know when you went through your wreck,
everything.
we were literally sewing you back together, and I'm
Yes.
here for it, because you're out on the other side and you are taking names and kicking ass.
Well,
And
thank you for that compliment. That was really sweet.
Yeah.
Danny. I appreciate that, because you have worked in the healthcare before. Add that to the freaking list, man.
Well, I was in the tech side, but still, I did work on the healthcare side. I did interviewing and
brain.
video editing for doctors. Yeah.
Yes, it's insane. So what does the future look like for Discordia?
I think everybody is supposed to have a 5-year plan, but the truth of the matter is I'm really just enjoying where I am right now.
Good.
I really am so grateful for what I already have. I'm not saying that I'm not ambitious, but like I have
You made
I
me
have
cry.
I have my little house in East Nashville, and I'm surrounded by really loving and caring and good people, and like I'm taking care of my elderly parents. They're only an hour away, so I get to see them all the time, and I get to work during the day doing something that's challenging. I have a hobby that I love. Hopefully I can start actually producing music in the next year.
I'm gonna make sure of it.
So I'm really trying to just be really grateful for
In
what
the
I have in the
moment.
moment.
Yes.
And I do have a little surprise though.
Well, please, I love surprises. I know Zest family might too. Let's hear it.
So I am going to be going to Electric Forest for the first time this year, and I told some friends, and they were like, we're managing the
Congrats,
artist stage, the little artist village stage. Would you like to play? So I'll be playing in the
What
artist
a
village.
dream. Do you know we've been talking about this for years now?
It'll be my second festival. I mean, I know I'm not on the stage at the festival,
But you are on
but
stage
I'm
at the
back where all the artists are, so that's even like more exciting.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for the opportunity and the privilege. Thank you so much, AJ, for believing in me
Shout out, AJ.
and keeping me in your thoughts, because that's a huge opportunity that I really appreciate, and I won't let you down, I promise. And I'm gonna have a really good time. We're gonna have a really good time.
That's what life is all about. And that's what Zest is all about too, man. Just connecting people that can actually influence others in a positive way.
Right.
Yes. Righteousness. All right. Well, your style of music is so badass. And I'm not even going to blurt that out. It's so badass because I every time it's just banging. You've got bass house, tech house, all the different genres. What's your favorite to play with or mix?
I would probably say that tech house is my favorite to mix. I find it, it's just like riding a bike for me. I feel really comfortable in it. I can kind of go all over the place with it. I have a very wide catalog of it now. Bass house is my second favorite. I love to go a little harder. Dude, I've been really getting into drum and bass though. And
I'm so happy you said that.
I've been ending my sets with drum and bass, and I'm just like, I love drum and bass. It's more challenging to mix. I love that challenge. I have a lot of fun with it.
That
I
would
guess
be
that's
epic to play
debatable.
with.
Drum and bass people be like, hey, it's not hard to mix, but for some people who didn't, learn mixing it. But my taste ranges vastly. You know, you were talking about United Perception earlier and how we were trying to bring everybody together. I can't say I like all music because there's some subgenres out there that I'm like, so we're not gonna talk about. I love all music, you know. But I really love anything in house, right? So all the way from like organic, minimal tech, you know, progressive. Gosh, like Lane 8, it was one of the best sets I've ever seen. Kind of changed my life. You know, I love so many different, you know, things, and there's even stuff in tech house that I don't like, you know. So I feel like one of the reasons why being a DJ works is I have a very curated taste, and I really like sharing that curated taste with others, and it seems like a lot of other people resonate with it.
They do. The whole city of Nashville resonates with it. And I know we always will have your back because you play some banging stuff and you do it just like so naturally. You get up there and it's just like, well, bam, and you get after it. And it's like wavelengths into bass house and tech house, but things that are just so mixed together that you've never heard before, and it's so awesome and just so fun to dance to, and I feel safe when you play.
Yeah,
and
I love. Oh, that's great that you said that.
Yeah.
There are some DJs that I don't feel safe.
Well,
like I'm in the set and like I'll listen to a
list.
couple and I'm like, oh, these are okay. And there's a couple that I'm like, oh, these are weird, you know. And then, oh, these are okay. And I'm like, I don't feel like this man has taken me on a good journey. You know?
Yes.
I'm glad that I make you
journey.
feel safe because I'm like,
Yes.
I literally am. I'm like holding your hand. We're like, oh, okay, we're gonna go on a little journey.
We're
you know?
dancing together, you know.
Yeah.
And yes, you really do that well, and even with the promotion too. Like
Next time I'm at a bad set, I'm gonna be like, I don't feel safe.
Oh, be careful with that, Mama. Be careful with that. So. Oh, I could say so many things, but I'm going to keep it fresh.
Yeah. That is Zest after all.
So, you're excuse me, Mom, if you're watching, forgive me. But you curate safe events, and I do want to bring up our mate, Kyle Ginther, and you guys were really oriented in the family aspect, the spiritual aspect of it, and coordinating a place. All ages could come and it be moving and safe, and you know, you were just putting that together, and it really takes a special person to put that together because it's so much pressure. There's so many things that go into creating that lineup, the place, the time, the vendors, everything. So I really want you to just pat yourself on the back 1,000 times because you take on so much for the scene, and I am really proud to know you and stand by you in that because what you're doing and where you're going is growing, and I'm so proud. I have no words. I'm just like, it's so cool to see you because you're going to play Electric Forest this year. You play, you know,
Dance Festopia last year.
Dance Festopia, yes, and you're just constantly. We play Cabana Taps. You know, we were playing You're still doing Golden Door. It's just like, where is it gonna go? And it's just the possibilities are endless.
Yeah,
and
now we have the Office since it's expanded. I got to play there in January for Drift. Oh gosh, that was like one of my favorite sets. I have like 2 sets in my life that stand out. I did one in San Diego. I did one in San Diego, Pacific Beach.
That's a dream.
Yeah, man, it was nuts. There was like maybe like, I don't know, 450, 500 people in this like, not a big club. It was kind of like a shotgun style. I think it's called the Avenue. Gosh.
Was it tied up in there?
It was, dude, and it was like, the walls were moving, like everything was moving.
I bet it was.
I don't know if other DJs have ever experienced this, but sometimes when the energy is so high, you feel like a train that's about to derail. You're like, hold on. You're like
I love that you say that.
You're
Pandora's box. I thought the floor was about to come up.
I literally, it's so cool because the decks are in like the back of a piano there. Like their stage is super cool. There's like a hollowed out piano, and that's where the decks go. So you're on the stage, and it looks like it's a piano, but it's decks. And then there's all these people. and there were like booths on either side, and people were in the booths, on top of the booths, like jumping. The whole place, I was just like, oh God, it's like, here we go,
Let's
hang on. And I think it was like an hour and a half or two. It was a longer set. It was a little bit longer set, but that whole time, man, I was just ripping, and it was so fun, and the crowd's response was so fun. They were screaming for everything. They were just having a blast. So
You always rip it, man.
man, I will not forget that set ever. I literally was just like, I can't mess up. I can't.
I love that.
The whole time I was like, I was just freaking. But
That's
it was
so
so
fun.
fun. It
Yes.
was so fun.
And it keeps your energy alive. It's just like you said with the dancing and stuff in the very beginning. It's like when you feed that energy into it, it makes us feed it twice as harder back to
They
you.
were going ape, man. I have not seen a crowd reaction like that before. They were having such a good time. And afterward, literally, like everybody wanted to shake my hand, and I was on the little
Rockstar
marquee.
shit,
I was on the
mama.
marquee up top. And I was like, Mama, I made it,
Yeah, that was me throwing that bass.
It was
That's so
it was such a
awesome.
fun night. And then that drift night, when I did drift, the Zams throw that Prophet. And that night was fun too. It was an electric night, and I was extremely nervous because that was the first time I was ever recording a set. And I know, spank my hands. I don't know why I haven't. I'm not that kind of person. I'm working on it, okay? But that was the first time that they were going to record one of my sets, so I was like super.
I'm working on that too. Yes, I'm so bad about that.
Yeah, I was like super scared. I was like, I can't mess up, like it'll be in infinity that everyone will know that I'm not a good DJ. I'm like just hard on myself.
Well, honestly, you kind of have to be to make sure that you're like putting yourself there, putting yourself like, let's get this done.
Yeah.
I would be worried if you were like, oh yeah, I just hopped up there and
No.
you know.
I practiced that set for like, I can't tell you.
Yes.
I perfected it. And let me tell you, I was really, really proud of it. And there was like a couple of transitions that I had never done before. And so I worked through them. And I pulled them off. And you have no idea what was going on in my head. So there was this one really difficult transition where I had to go from a low BPM to a high BPM and do all this other stuff while it was happening. And I was just terrified.
I get it, girl. Those things are, it's so terrifying. It's like a roller coaster. It's like, all right, this big hill's
I know.
drop's about to come and you're going to.
Yeah, I got to do all
And
this stuff.
if you mess up, the whole thing's off, and then you look like a sucker up there it's like,
And everybody's looking at me.
yes. And then, all right. So if you have, obviously, we have some bad ones growing. I've had some where I'll just like try to play it off and try to keep it mixed or whatever. What are your tricks too when it comes to that?
There's been, especially if I'm in a back-to-back, because obviously those are more unpredictable. When I do my sets, I literally have them timed. I know when I'm coming in and when I'm coming out of every song. There's sometimes where I'll like let it drop twice because it went really well, but I don't really, I'm really strict about how I play. But when I'm in a back-to-back, obviously that's a more chaotic environment. So there's definitely some tricks and things that I have learned. Shay is an excellent DJ. He was a resident in Miami for a long time, and he taught me a lot about tension. And so sometimes, building up tension with effects, but doing it in a way where it doesn't sound like a kid playing with a Fisher Price.
Yes.
So there's sometimes when you're in a back-to-back, and unless you know your music really well, you can pop into the wrong part of a song. It happens to us all.
Yes.
Don't worry, honey. It happens to everybody.
We got you. We got you.
But, that's happened to me. And what I'll do is I'll just build tension another way with FX. So
Yep.
I love to use, and I know this
What's
is
your
like,
favorite?
I love a good reverb with a high pass and then
Ooh.
move it up to flanger. So I'll do reverb, high pass, and then move it to flanger, and it goes.
Love that into the abyss of chaos.
Yeah, so it kind of like has like a little
All right,
like
I gotta
funkiness to
sample
it. So and it's not a hard thing to do either. That's pretty basic.
Those are so fun. That's like the one part I think we get like it's like you rehearse, and when you get up there and it's like you have this laid out, and it's like, oh, I can play with these effects now too. And those are kind of the unpredictable factors.
And the V10. Oh my god. I've only gotten to play on the V10 like maybe a handful of times, but every time I'm I'm like, I love it. So I can't wait. I probably won't ever be able to
Give
afford
this
one
girl
at
a
this point, but like
V10.
I'm gonna have to get one eventually because it is so fun to play on.
It's coming for you. It's
Somebody
coming.
buy me a V10.
Sponsor Discordia.
Can I get a
that
sponsor,
V10.
please?
Let's go. I love because you actually have a set in your house. and you have that neon sign. Go ahead and tell them what it says.
Says pretty please.
Yes, if you want to request a song.
Pretty please.
Hey. It's legendary, mate. It's legendary. So many things in store for you, Danny. So we've got Electric Forest. You might get in producing, you might not. Kind of just depends what you're feeling, honestly. And know that you don't need it. There's ghost producers too. You can always look into. And that's not even somebody doing your stuff. That's like a collaboration with a friend, you know? I think there's so many different outlets, and I think that we have so many good teachers that you're going to be ready to put something out ASAP.
Speaking of teachers, another cute little thing is the teaching.
Yeah.
So I have started teaching lessons. So I don't know if you'll care if I say it, but Connor, I don't know if you know Connor. I've been teaching Connor, and I really love it because it just works the fundamentals back into your head.
Yes.
And it's also rediscovering it through someone else's eyes. So I've been learning a lot just by doing that. And, you know, I'm teaching just simple music theory, you know, like I never went through any kind of formal music education or
that's why you're so special.
I played piano growing up, but it was more like, you know, we played church hymns on the piano. I had a little piano teacher. It was my best friend's grandma. And she was like 80 years old, and she had a piano in her house. And
so the best teacher taught you.
Yeah, she was a very sweet woman.
Yeah.
And her name was Connie. And so learned from her. I played piano from the time I was about 3 is when I started lessons, and then till I was about 16 or 17 when I got more into my schoolwork, and that kind of took me away from it.
Yeah.
And then when I moved out of my parents' house, I was 17, and I was in like a tiny apartment. I didn't have room for a piano, you know, and I know keyboards exist. Don't come at me, guys. But like, you know, I just, you know, at the time I was just away from it. And,
right.
And it's really not like riding a bike, especially since I didn't have a formal education. I literally just had a sweet little old lady teaching me in her house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she taught me like a little bit about music theory and things like that. But that's all I'm going off of, you know? Yeah. So I'm still a student to this day, obviously.
We all are.
Try to learn a lot about it and try to understand more about it. And like, you know, I do think that it's super important to introduce kids to music early, though. I'm very thankful to my mom.
You're passing on the gift.
Yeah, shout out to my mom for putting me in piano lessons at 3. You know,
yes.
Most people would be like, "Oh, well, wait till they're older and they can pick an instrument." And like, no, my mom was like, "You're learning piano."
Yes, that's so funny. My parents said this, like they were like, "If you do anything, can you try to just do the piano?" The piano, I think, is where so many things come from. A lot of theories come from. I adore the piano.
Yeah. I just got FL Studio. My friend Ryan Shepard, he's a DJ and producer, a very talented producer from Toronto, Canada. He introduced me to a contact down here from FL Studio, and he gave me a license because I told him that I was, you know, there was a lot of hang-ups with me starting, and he was really empathetic and really kind. And he wound up setting me up with a license, and I'm super, super grateful for that.
That's awesome.
And I literally downloaded it, and I haven't touched it because I'm terrified. You know, like, I know I need to like get some videos going, and I need to do some stuff. I need to get going. But I've got a couple of other.
It's easier than you think. So just know, you know. You're a queen of mixing too, though. That is producing in a way, you know. So like, I don't want you to think, oh, I'm missing out on this side. It's one and the same, and I just want you to explore because it's fun. And you know,
I'm excited to start.
Yes.
Like I am.
Yeah.
So I you know, and of course, Paolo has inspired me so much, and FL is the DAW that he uses, so I'm gonna be like, help.
Every time. Paulo has taught so many things to so many people. Such a beautiful person, artist.
Right. He's the godfather here in Nashville.
Yes.
Shout out to Paulo Ventura. I would not be, by the way, in this chair, in this place.
Same.
I
Yeah,
would
we would
not-
not be connected without
Yeah,
him.
there's so much in my life that would be missing if it wasn't for him. So
Yeah.
I am eternally grateful.
I think he's gonna get the key to the city one day.
He's got to. Maybe they've already given it to him.
It's on the way, Polly.
It's in the mail. But no, that man has been transformative, and not only to my life, but to so many others in the scene. You were talking about Kyle earlier, and as soon as you said Kyle's name, all I could think about was when Kyle met me, how encouraging he was to me about everything. Remember, he did Bangers and Baddies. So we did this all woman lineup, you know, and he was like, I want to support that. I want to bring sound for that. He literally brought in all those huge ass speakers, and I paid, you know, for like pennies on the dollar just because he wanted to support. Like, you talk about a gem of a man, but Paolo's that way too, you know, like the community here, I will say there can be some ins and outs and ups and downs about it, but overall people are so kind. I like I said, I would not, you know, look, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, do you want to be a DJ? Or said anything about that, like, I'd be like, no. Like, I had no desire, thought,
Same. Yeah.
nothing to be in the music industry, to be a DJ. You know, I would look at a soundboard and I would be like overwhelmed immediately. I was like, I don't want to do that. That looks like a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So I got my heart broken coming out of the pandemic in 2020, 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. Thanks a lot.
Ugh,
If you're listening.
don't tell me his name.
Oh, I'm not.
I'll let you down.
The words shall not be spoken.
Dare you
But, you know, I really.
turn against the queen?
I know. Off with his head. I really cared for him, though. It was kind of like my first foray into a relationship after.
Well, heartbreaks teach you a lot of things.
Yeah, and, you know, Paolo saw the suffering that I was going through. I was really suffering. And he was like, you should put that pain into something artistic. It'll help you get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Noizu comes in. I will always love Noizu. There was a group of us that were going to drive down to see Noizu in Atlanta. And we drove down, and Paulo brought his board. And we had an Airbnb, and there was a big group of us and a big group. Sorry.
Okay.
Came back from the show, and he was behind the decks, Paulo, and he was like, get back here. And he literally taught me how to mix that night, right after the Noizu show. And I wound up, that was an after party that went to like, I don't know, 5, 6 in the morning. And I wound up basically back-to-backing with him.
Just learning, going
Just
through
learning
it. Yeah.
that whole time. Then the next day, there was a flow meetup because Kim was a shuffle dancer, right? So she was going to flow. And Paulo was going to DJ it. And, you know, obviously we're all exhausted or whatever. He goes, do you want to do it? And I was like, I guess. And he was like, you can do it. He's like, you can do it.
He
Just
believed in
do
you.
it.
He knew you had it.
And so
All it
I
takes is
used
that one person.
Yeah, his music, obviously, you know, his USB, and just mixed all afternoon. And obviously it was probably trash, you know, but I
Probably
learned.
was it? I don't believe it.
I learned a lot. And then I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
You know, came home and started working on, you know, mixes and getting into record box like literally that week.
Because did you feel like that was like a whole new way of expressing yourself through the mixing, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's almost like a wave that you can ride. And, you know, I love that you can kind of incorporate your emotions and where you've come from in your music and mixing with that, because you have this hard bass and you get the tech house and it's dancing, but it's hard, and it's you hear where you come from and you hear where you're going, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really excited for everything to come, honestly, because I don't think I've even seen you have one error on a set.
Oh, come on. There's
I really
definitely.
haven't.
Maybe I'm just hard on myself, but even the last one I did, I was like,
It's
I'm taking
just-
this song
everything
out
you
and
do
not
is
going to do
clean.
this one again.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome. So yeah, I'm so grateful that you're passing that along too, and they've passed it along to us, and that, you know, we are in this together, and always will be. And
Bro, and if I can just say, like, your sets inspired me too. I remember seeing you up there, and I remember before one of your sets, you were like shaking, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "Every time I go up there, I'm just so nervous," and I'm the same way. Every time I'm about to go on stage, my stomach is literally doing somersaults. I'm just like, I don't know if it's just the energy trying to get out already or what, but I'm always just like, don't puke, don't,
I was so scared people were going to see me shaking and mixing. Like people were going to watch my hands the whole time and not listen to the music or something.
But bro, you would go up there and you would just, the sounds and the energy that would come out was just immaculate.
Well, thank you, babe.
Yeah, it was
Thank
it was
you.
always so much fun. There was
We
one in particular I
always had
remember at
fun.
404, and like shout out to the old school 404 days. But I don't know, it was literally just magic. I was
The
in
404 days were magical.
I know.
You know.
Those were some sweet days.
Yes, they were. And I'll always cherish those. And it's crazy because I remember just talking to you and Paulo, even back then, I think we just like went behind again. We were like, do you believe in this as much as I do? Like pretty much like, and we just all became a team. And I love the Kumbana Taps era. That was so much fun. Like you brought up the bangers and baddies, like putting women on and bringing up our mate Kyle. Like Kyle Ginther was amazing at including women
Yes.
and including kids.
Let's talk about inclusivity,
Yes.
because that's one thing that when I moved here and I went to Broadway and I realized I thought that that was the only nightlife that Nashville had, I was heartbroken.
Isn't it insane?
Because I can't build community with a bachelorette party that's in from Idaho.
Yeah, or someone a hammer that's gonna forget you the next day.
Yeah. So I was literally like mourning. I was like, gosh, I'm a dancer and I like going out dancing, but if this is the nightlife, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. And Paolo brought me into the EDM scene, and people like Kyle pulled me in and brought me in and were, inclusive. That is what really attracted me to this music, to the scene. And I just want to say, like, if that's any kind of message that Kyle would spread and I could continue, is that inclusivity. And there's
It's important.
yeah, like, man, bro, who were we at what age that we're trying to be pretentious and exclusive? And I've seen some people in this scene that can be that way. And look, I'm not going to argue here about, like, I understand protecting your energy, and you got to surround yourself with the people that you want to surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone deserves kindness.
Mm-hmm.
And what really attracted me to all this was the whole, you can laugh if you want, but the plur, like plur.
Yes.
But like, that positivity and respect and love and those types of things, I really do believe in those things.
Yeah.
I believe that we're better off in a state of tribalism, in a state of closeness, versus the individualistic look at me or the clout chasing or the whatever it may be. But when we're benefiting each other and when we're working with each other, and again, talking about my purpose, like that connectivity part of my purpose, like I really do believe in that.
Yeah.
And y'all can make fun of me and think I'm hokey all you care. I don't care.
I
But
agree with you 1,000%.
But I want, if we're talking to future generations and we're talking to women, then that's what I want people to really meditate on after this, is that spirit of inclusivity, and what does that mean, and also protecting our boundaries, but making sure that we create safe and loving spaces for those that, and I'm not going to even say that those that we care about. We should be doing that for we should be doing that for everyone.
Everybody. I would carry it out of the festival grounds and into your neighborhoods and into your home. And what can you do to just be inclusive, positive, just a collective as one with what's going on.
That sense of community. Take care of each other.
Yes.
Take care of each other.
And each other's things.
Yeah.
And don't steal anything from a campsite.
Yeah. We could
Those
go
are
on
my
all day
drinks.
about that. Like, I got my phone stolen at EDCO, so I'm like traumatized. I was like,
Well, it's so funny. I want to share this one thing with you first. You said tribalism, and my connection with music comes from my grandfather, and he was a chief, and he would I play this Indian drum, and when I was like about 6 or 7, we would go out and I would dance to this drum, and he would play this song, and it was a healing song, and we actually believed and prayed and danced, and we actually went in front of crowds and plays like this, did a Soda Caverns and stuff, and really encouraging people of the power of prayer can go through music and can go and connect you with those around you.
Yeah.
It can get stronger and it can build, and the way that he would teach me how to dance to it with the beats, and like he would have the shakers, and it's just a beautiful way of flow, and that's why I really admire that you have that within you and your dance, because you get where it builds from within your feet up to your head, and how you can illustrate that with every move that you make, every transition that you make.
Yeah. My great grandmother was also Native, and
Amazing.
I didn't get to connect with her because I'm the baby of a baby of a baby, so they were long gone by the time I came along. But I did.
Well, you're connected.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, the ancestry, and of course I've heard many, many stories and things like that. But that's really beautiful that you were able to actually share that with one of your ancestors.
I know, it taught me, that's the only why I keep going so much, because it really moved me, and at a young age, I saw how connected people were, and I really feel like you guys are doing that and helping the younger generation see how connected we can be. And
Well, sound is healing.
outside of AI, you know?
Yeah, sound is healing, and that's that's not even arguable at this point. I'm always scared people are going to think I'm some kind of hokey hippie, and I am. But but
add it to the list.
vibration and sound is really healing, and they had it right. If you look back through the generations, through time, through different cultures, music has always been incorporated in parts of worship and rites of passage and things of that nature, because it's transformative.
Yes.
It's transformative.
Yes.
And I know that like tech house and bass house kind of get a lot of, they get like, oh, that's like bro house, or whatever. What I'll say though is one of the things that I'm really in tune with is women and what women really like to dance. And let me tell you, like 126 and 128, the girls go crazy.
I was going to ask you what your BPM was, what you were feeling.
Those BPMs, they're just shaking their asses. That's what I said at Dance Festopia. I was like, I introduced myself literally. I was like, hey y'all, my name is Discordia, and I just want to see you shake your ass.
Dude, do you know the first time I got on the mic, I sounded like an idiot, and I was like, watch that ass spin around. And like nobody was there. I don't even know, man.
I cannot talk on the mic.
I can't either.
I'm just like,
I'm trying to get better.
I'm like so awkward. I'm like, mm-mm. My friend, really good friend, Nate, one time we were playing for the Dance Festopia competition. And he's like, you got to say your name. He's like, there's going to be a bunch of people there who don't know who the hell you are, and they want to vote for you because they like you. You got to say your name.
Yes,
and I was like, I don't want to talk on the mic. I just don't want to do it. Can you do it? Can someone else do it? He's like, no.
I've always had people introduce me because for that reason.
He's like, just at the end of your set, say, thanks for coming. I'm Discordia, and be done with it. And I did. And I wound up winning. So maybe, thanks, Nate.
Yes. Pushing you where you need to be. It's a good thing when we take those steps. Even though we're nervous, it's even each step going out on stage. It's hard, but we do it, and it works. And you keep rising, you keep growing, you keep getting further and further out there. And we're going to see it even this year with Electric Forest and so on. What's going to happen after Electric Forest? The world is going to know very soon. Would you ever play outside of the country?
Oh, absolute dream. Please send me to like Switzerland or Belgium or Croatia. I tried.
Great sound.
I did Yacht Week in Croatia, and let me tell you, there was a couple people, and I was like, I bought my USB.
You got to, man. You got to. You're the best about that too. I'm like, we'll roll up to open decks, but I forgot mine.
I always got that
and
thing
you're like, I got 3
me.
on me. It's so inspiring, babe. So inspiring. Well, I love you so much. And
I love you too.
We're going to wrap up here on episode 3 of Zest Radio. And in the future, I can't wait to see what comes. All the magic come to fruition. And we're going to keep watching, keep being big fans always. And I'm excited to see what's to come.
Thank you. And best of luck with everything on all your endeavors, too. I love you so much.
I love you more. Until next time, my friend.